Daredevil Season 2. I still cannot pronounce this name properly. Too complicated for me. This is the overview, so I will be speaking about the season, my feeling toward it, because I've just seen it for like the third or the fourth time, and I've seen it many years ago. When it first came out, I watched it, and then I rewatched it again with friends, and I rewatched it again for fun, and here we are, another watch. And this season is really, really strong. It builds up upon the foundation season one left, and they did it right. It was amazing. Just like season one, the fight choreography is amazing. And this time around, I think they also improved it. They improved it because we had someone as capable as Matt Murdock when we had Frank Castle. Frank Castle is a very competent fighter. He knows how to fight and to end weapon, whatever. They thought about that. Now, speaking about their fights, plot armor, another issue I had. In the first episode, Matt should have died from an edge shot. Now, that plot armor was needed, but future writers, you can escape that by not placing your main character in that kind of situation. What if Daredevil grabbed the gun or disarmed Castle before Castle aimed at his head? What if Castle didn't have that other gun? Now you will tell me, oh, he had the upper end, so Daredevil would have won in the first episode. Not necessarily. Maybe he could hide a knife. Maybe Punisher can maneuver around and do good fight choreography and push Daredevil over the ledge. Because keep in mind, when Daredevil was shot, he fell from a ledge. So push over Matt and Punisher can escape. You don't need to headshot Matt, but yet plot armor protect main character. Now another issue I had, but it's more like plot convenience. At some point, Stick arrives at the right moment to save Elektra and Matt from both dying. I think it was episode 8 or 9. Can't remember. And now some people may say, oh, but he was following them. Yes, I understand. The viewer is not dumb, but they haven't left any hint prior this. They haven't told us Stick is around in a troll line. So it feels like they only wanted the impact scene to say, oh, they are in danger, there's tension, but boom, Stick appears. How convenient. Why did Stick waited this long to interfere? Maybe he wanted to test them out. There's too many unknown factors. How, why, when? What if he was 1 second too late? Both of his strongest assets would have died. Now, let's move on because there's still a lot of good within the show. It's still amazing. It's better than season one. And it's really hard to believe, you know? Season one was great. To kill or not kill. Is Daredevil right to say everyone needs a second chance? Is he right to save even the criminals? Is it right for the Punisher to end the people so they cannot harm others or they cannot repeat and do again whatever they were doing? This is very strong teams. This is mature, and in the show they don't tell you who is right, who is wrong. They don't. They let you think by yourself. Both characters are right. Now, Matt says, let's follow the law. And Punisher says the law doesn't work. And the Punisher is right, but Matt as well. If you just kill people, you're not better than them. But then, if you let them walk away, they can be like Fisk and control a jail. Speaking about control, one of my few issues is the plot convenience. The right corrupt cop at the right place at the right moment. This is something that bothers me so much in a show that pretend to be grounded and realistic. This aside, it was good. The show is amazing despite the flaws, and every show you will watch will have flaws. Nothing is perfect. It's really hard to craft that thing. Nobody can nitpick, nobody can criticize or deconstruct and say there's no mistake. It's just very hard to achieve, and that's fine. Humans aren't perfect, so you cannot expect the perfect product. Now, one of the strengths of Daredevil season 2 is all of these scenes between Daredevil and the Punisher, Frank and Matt. I will speak mainly about some kind of character growth, if we can call it that way. By episode 11, Matt considered killing once. And this is because he realized everything he did in recent events is undermined. Fisk is behind bars, but he controlled the jail. The Punisher escaped jail. So now, Matt thinks his way of dealing with things may be wrong. Maybe he is wrong. So this is allowing a character to think. And this is golden. You don't need people screaming. You don't need people fighting to have great scenes between two characters. Only the dialogue between two characters can truly leave a mark and say this is a mature show more than just violence. He is a man and he shouldn't die. Matt Murdock speaking with Foggy about the Punisher. That speech reflects Daredevil at its finest. He values everyone's lives despite what they did. And this is why I do like this show. It's a very mature show, and even if your villain do villainous thing, you're still a human being. Matt Murdock, as a character, is willing to lose his career to save Frank Castle's life, which is telling a lot on Matt Murdock. He values more lives than a career. He knows the risk, he is willing to take it if he can save a life. And this is great. I don't see Disney Marvel doing anything as good as that if they adapt a new version of Daredevil. Matt and Foggy. In episode 9, we get that scene that had a huge impact on me on my most recent watch because I haven't remembered how I felt like the first time or the second time I've seen the show. But now I can tell and I can understand Matt is not able to have two lives anymore, and his obsession became his life, and he thinks he cannot live two lives, and he thinks all he has is Daredevil, which is very interesting because that leaves him to be alone, asking Elektra to leave, asking Foggy to close office, and this shows us how broken Matt Murdock is in season 2 and how these ninjas that are about to destroy the city are basically pushing him to the edge. And this is very interesting. It's very heavy, and I don't know any other shows that did so well in giving the main character only one purpose, one obsession. Even Arrow in the earlier season when it was all about a crusade, there were still aspects of the show that were about Oliver Queen. But in the Daredevil season 2, Matt Murdock just ceased to exist in order to accomplish his crusade as Daredevil. And this is magic for me, and I do enjoy that a lot. And I can see people getting obsessed over things, losing sight of other stuff. In season 1, it was all about making the city a better place. In season 2, it's all about just focusing on that. It's further than that. So it's it's just very good, and this tells us some shows don't really need that much action to work well. You just need some good teams within your story, and you just need the right approach and the right writing to make it work. I just wish more shows would do the same. Now, I wanted to dedicate this part of the video about Foggy Nelson in season 2, and this is very interesting this season for Foggy. In season 1, I felt like he was just there to be comic relief. He was just there to be the good friend Matt has. And in season 2, he plays a much bigger role, and we get a better grasp on who Foggy is. Even if he's weak physically, even if he's not a fighter, he is not scared. He wants to do stuff. For example, the bar scene. He wanted intel, he went in a bar, and he said a lot of things, and he could have gotten killed, but yet, because he speaks well and because he knows what to say, he survived. Because he's a good lawyer, he almost won the Frank Kessel case by himself since Matt was obsessed with his mission. Now, as of strength and flaws, I think the strength of Foggy is speaking. He knows what to say, when to say. And I think his flaw is sometime that will put him in danger. He takes a lot of risk, and he gets sensitive as well, if we can call it that way. Matt actions, wanting for them to separate, really put a lot of weight on Foggy. And he is also very honest as a character, giving another flaw that it's not really a really bad flaw, but it's some kind of flaw. He is a bad liar. He cannot tell lies. And this is interesting. Now, Foggy as a character is very appealing, and he he tried to resonate with Matt. Try his best, but he can't because Matt is obsessed. And this is great material for Foggy during that season. I think Foggy is too generous and he gives too many chances. He's too gentle, but that also makes him a very good friend. And this is interesting. He's so gentle that he will erase himself, and at some point, he will reach a breaking point because he takes so much in his shoulders. Sometimes he takes too much and he breaks. And they get emotional, like in the scene in the bathroom where during the trial, Matt and Foggy speak about Matt not coming at the trial because of Elektra. And this got very emotional. And you see these scenes between Matt and Foggy during season 2 all are all well written and very strong and good for both Matt and Foggy as individual characters within the story. In season 2, it's different. Foggy endangered himself to help out, to ask questions to the people because he is good at speaking. Matt and Nelson no more working together was heartbreaking, but it was well written and well done. It was very sad to see them closing the office they worked so hard to get in season 1, but it made sense. This season was about moving on in life. Matt Kent, he is stuck in his crusade, he is stuck in his obsession. Karen Page is stuck in the past because she doesn't want Foggy and Matt to close the office. And the same goes for Nelson. He doesn't want it. At some point, Matt and Nelson speak with each other. They're like, is it really the end? Matt doesn't want this to end, but he knows it's the right thing to do because he doesn't want to spend time in the office. So it's the theme of moving on in life. Punisher is stuck in the past. He believes his family dying over and over again, and he thinks by killing it will make it right. He cannot move forward. He just can't. You need to kill the people that crippled his life, his body, his family. Elektra cannot move forward because when Matt offered Elektra, look, you can be with me, she ended up killing a kid in front of Matt. And she's like, this is me. Do you accept me? This is interesting the way they approach how moving forward is for everyone. Karen Page decides to become a journalist, and it's well done, well crafted. At first, she did it as an assistant to Nelson and Murdock, but then she realized she liked it, and she also realized the office is closing, so she needs a backup plan. And the guy with glasses in the journalist office, I cannot recall his name, but this guy is very interesting. In season 1, he was kind of bland. It was okay. It wasn't a bad character or a good one. He was just there to be there. But losing Ben Urich in season 1 affected that guy with glasses. And his way of moving forward is to pass the torch, I should say, to Karen Page and giving her the tools and protecting her the best way he can, giving her a job, giving her police protection. So it's well done. Everything makes sense. Nelson's way to move on is to basically go work for a new firm. Matt Murdock doesn't move on. He can't. He's obsessed. He's like a junkie wanting his shot or his smoke. So, this season is really heavy, but it's very entertaining. Fight scene are golden, as I will always say about Daredevil TV show. They know how to handle that kind of stuff. Claire, the way she stays strong and say no, I will not lie, and then she leaves, is very interesting. This is also her way to move on, moving into something else, another job elsewhere, probably a nurse in another hospital, I am guessing. This show was a genius, in my own opinion. And more shows should look back at what went right, also what went wrong to not repeat, but I think there's much more right than wrong to find. Now, as usual, we will have a segment where I will read other people comment on Rotten Tomato, the audience comment, and I will also include my own comment, which is more detailed than my off-script part I've been telling you so far, because I don't make any script for my content. Sometimes I do if I feel the need, but I'd rather speak with passion and I'd rather speak with my mind than reading a script. Season 2 is divided in several arcs. Daredevil versus Punisher, Punisher trial, Punisher released, the end, Elektra, Stick, Nobu, zombies, ninja. Now that may seem big. People will think, oh, there's too many plot line. I don't think so. It was well crafted, well written. Everything made sense. Everything was really tight, and it did fit well. And this is all you can play with a lot of plots within a season of 13 episodes. Sometimes episode with 23 episodes have more storyline or the same number, and they cannot do it as well as this show, which is impressive. I miss the days where Marvel wanted to entertain you instead of telling you what to think and what to do. I want to praise this show for something else. The pep talks in the show. Now, usually I don't praise show doing pep talks because I find them so boring and annoying. It's just like, you can do it! And then he does it. But in this show, it's deeper conversation. It's human beings speaking with each other, trying to help each other through dialogue. And they don't feel cliche. They are in character with the characters, and they lead to character growth most of the time. And it's not the kind of character growth that get lost uh, with time or episode. We had a rooftop conversation between Matt and Claire, and Matt is wondering if he does the right thing. He is questioning his approach, is it working? And then Claire used parallel with how she patch up junkies and other people that will just get injured the day of tomorrow. So these kind of deep conversation are very interesting, and they elevate the show, making it more mature and stronger. It's more than just Matt, you're wrong. They try to bring something to think about as viewer and as character in the show. They don't take the viewer for someone stupid, and they don't treat the characters themselves as stupid. They want to deliver a message through their pep talk. And the message is deeper than, let's say, a pep talk in the Flash TV show. I give that example because the Flash TV show, by season 8, it's bleeding of pep talk almost every week. And these are the kind of obnoxious pep talk. So when I see Daredevil having pep talks, I'm like, they actually make sense and they drive the stories, the character, and the viewer further. In this video, I will not have a full part dedicated to Claire. However, I want to speak about one specific scene in episode 11 that reflects a strong character that happened to be female. Claire, old or grown, she doesn't want to lie. She wants to tell the truth, even if this will cost her her job, and she go out of her way to fulfill what she truly wants. Since she doesn't want to lie, she left her job. Now, some people may tell me, oh, it's not that strong. Yes, it is. That shows her will. And having a strong will can be a good character trait for any strong character. You don't need to have the strongest muscle, but if you can hold your ground, this is telling the viewer that character is strong. Karen Page becoming a reporter was very interesting. Karen Page, as usual, she is a strong character that happens to be female. And she's not invincible. She is saved here and there. But she's still a very strong character. She keep her head up. She killed someone. She feels guilty. She didn't forget she killed Wesley in season 1, and at some point she is scared. Yes, writer let people be scared, even if they are female. And that fear was founded. It made sense because at the point where she speak about her fear, she didn't know the Punisher only wanted to kill some mob boss or uncover a conspiracy. Now, let's speak about the DA that one Punisher captured or killed. She first came out as obnoxious, annoying, but there's a big but here. At some point, she recognized she messed up, and she tried her best to fix the situation just before dying. Is it a full redemption arc? No. It was the first step, and she could not keep up with more steps because she died. And this show is really dark and mature. I like the themes. And just like before, Matt is in control, if we can call it that way. He He may be obsessed, but he's in control. He is as good as ever on the field, beating the crap out of ninjas now. Speaking about ninjas, the Earthbeat. Okay. Maybe it's a nitpick, maybe it's not. Is it really possible to slow down your Earth rate without dying? I don't know. I guess it is in this universe. Now, Stick as a character is amazing. He brings that something else. He is the anti-hero. He wants to save the world, but he doesn't care if he kills people. Elektra is a villain, and by the end, she tries a redemption arc. Now, you'll tell me, oh, but no, she is an anti-hero. Not really. She she kills people because she enjoys it, and further than that, she's manipulative. And I have a whole segment of this video dedicated to Elektra, and by the end of the season, she gets a redemption arc, which is very interesting. At some point, she gets a choice. Will she join the end that look like there are people that will accept her the way she is, or will she fight among Stick side and Matt side? And this was good. Elektra tried to change during the season, but she didn't change enough by the end of the season to tell me she is more an anti-hero. By the end of the season, yes, she wanted to be better, but for me, she remained a villain. Now, can a villain have a good motive? Can a villain think he does the right thing, I should say? Of course, this is how villains are when they are well written. Remember Wilson Fisk? He killed so many people because he wanted to make the city a better place. He was a villain, and he thought his cause was noble. Elektra thought killing was the only way, and she killed because she liked it. She killed because Stick told her to kill. She was a weapon. And yeah, enough said about Elektra. Foggy Nelson, amazing character. In season 1, I felt like he was more of a comic relief than anything else. Now, I need to get it out of my chest. The trope Daredevil kept using. Corrupt cops, even in jail. Fisk, control the jail. Now, this may be comic book accurate. This may look cool and sound cool as well. But for me, this is a really big issue. It's plot convenience. Right people, right place, right moment. Oh, it happens to be three corrupt cop looking at Punisher's cell at the end of episode 9. I don't like that trope. I think that trope dragged down a lot season 1, and it does the same in season 2. Now, the episode was amazing outside of that. It was really good, but I just don't like it when shows do that. Yes, corrupt cop can exist, but it's being overused, and it looks like in most shows it's always the right moment for the right corrupt cop to come in the story just to make the story move further. Now, the exchange with Fisk and Punisher is great. It's amazing. I liked the scene a lot. They smash each other, they hit each other. It was strong, it was good. But I think the build up to it is really weak. I think these three cops just listening to Fisk, and in the same episode, they're speaking about Fisk losing his money. So how will he pay for everything and everyone? And further than that, how so many corrupt cops are working in a prison. Now, I don't work in a prison, so maybe it can be realistic, but I doubt it. I doubt it. As a former security agent, I know how bad this can be for your career, your reputation. So I can't picture that many corrupt cops within one organization. And worse than that, it's a jail center. So I needed to get it out of my chest. Issues that keep coming back. I am wondering, how did Nobu survive being torched alive in season 1? We haven't seen him at the hospital, so maybe he died, but then they brought him back to life. Now, this is a small issue. This is a very small issue, but it's still one, because the show pretends to be grounded and realistic. But someone getting torched that bad and surviving, it makes no sense. But here again, this is a small issue, and that doesn't take away how good the show is as a whole. It just has flaws here and there. I got another example of plot armor in episode 9. Matt is not moving near a cage, and then a ninja appears behind him, and he throws many ninja star, shuriken, call it the way you want, and he misses, but Matt doesn't even move or react to it. Why? Don't know. Maybe it's too dark, but even there, I think there's a plot armor there. It could be better executed, that specific scene. This may be small, but let's be honest and real, it's part of some of the issues with the show. Plot armor, plot convenience. Does this mean the show is bad? No, it has flaws. That's it. Here, I will add something else. For Marvel Disney, when a female is arrogant, it's a strength, but they can't say the same with men. That's why when a man is arrogant in Disney Marvel, the man is reduced to trash, but they want their female to be arrogant. So they contradict themselves. And now I will tell you something else. In the Daredevil show, Matt says to Elektra, "You are arrogant." And it's not depicted as a strength, because in fact it should always be depicted as a weakness, a flaw within a character, regardless of which gender the character is. Being arrogant as a human being is a flaw. It's a character flaw. So I like that this Marvel TV show, before Disney came into the picture, actually gave flaws to their female character, because these are more realistic. They are more human when they have flaws. Don't be shy to give a flaw to your male and female character. Your character should be seen as a character, a human being, and not a gender. And you should not consider a flaw or a strength depending on the gender. If you base your opinion whether it's a flaw or a strength it's wrong. And you also go against your own message saying y'all are better. How they can be better if men's are always trashed in everything. You know that smile I got right now? It's the smile of someone that I've just seen for the third time. Episode number 5 of Daredevil Season 2. It's great. You know why? At that time, Marvel was about entertainment. And we got that strong character that happened to be female. These existed back in the day. I say that because in 2022 these doesn't exist anymore. So Elektra, this was a Elektra centric episode, and Elektra is a villain. Now, is she a villain the same way as Punisher or Wilson Fisk are? No. But she is a villain. She is a liar, a manipulator. She is a puppet master. She is a very smart character that know how to channel people darkness. And maybe some people will think I over-exaggerate. But I don't. The flashback really want us to let us know she's not some anti-hero. She is a badass fighter. She can fight. But she wanted to use the darkness within Matt Murdock to push Matt Murdock into killing someone. An anti-hero doesn't do that kind of stuff. An anti-hero, it will try something heroic instead of doing something villainous, something a villain can push people to do. And there's no backstory in episode 5 about why Elektra is like that. Because some people are just crazy. And this is why. Even as a man, I can relate to Elektra. I like Elektra. I know she's a villain. But I like her character. Her character is much better than any Disney Marvel female character. She knows how to fight. She is likable despite being a villain. And I just wish Disney Marvel was able to bring that kind of character, but with Disney Marvel they can't. Each villain must be relatable. If it's a woman, they think it's relatable with a very sad backstory, but you need more than that. So Elektra, very strong character that happens to be female. She is amazing. In one episode, she left a bigger impact than Layla in 6 episodes of Moon Knight. One episode. This is what I want. I want entertainment. When there's a villain, don't try to justify your villain. Now, sometimes it can work. With Wilson Fisk, it worked. With the Punisher, it worked. But bring a backstory to why Elektra is like that, I feel like it can't really work. And even there, we can't defend her. But Disney Marvel truly want us to defend the action of any female villain. Female can't truly be crazy in Disney Marvel. They need to be all strong, all perfect. And this is something wrong in entertainment. I will add something else about Elektra in Daredevil Season 2, Episode 5, or 6, I should say. Here, we got a dinner where Matt and Elektra speak with each other, and she admits Matt is the better fighter she knows. So Elektra as a character is not there to say men are trash, female are better. No, she acknowledges Matt Murdock. She shows respect. And this is something Disney Marvel cannot do. Each time they put a man and a woman in the same room, it's to humiliate the men. It's to tell, yeah, the woman will do it better than the men. This is why I cannot watch what Disney Marvel is doing. This is why I don't like most of their products. To add more to the Elektra character, she is the femme fatale. So, in the Elektra case, it's important the gender. And she is authorized to look good. She is hot, let's be honest. Disney Marvel cannot depict women as being hot anymore. And femme fatale thing doesn't exist anymore with Disney Marvel. Femme fatale are good looking women that can do good stuff but bad stuff as well. It can backstab you at any time and create your downfall. Something else came up to my mind about the Elektra character. So, by episode 8, she's given the choice whether she will follow Stick or she will stay with Matt. Now, to go further in my idea, she is a villain. She didn't stay with Matt because it was the right thing to do. She stayed with him because she wanted him and to be with him. A good hero or an anti-hero would stick with someone for the good reason and not for some selfish reason. And Elektra is selfish. She wants to be with Matt because she need Matt. So this is just my analysis, and this is why I enjoy that much Elektra. She is a complex character. She's not the more complex I've seen, but she is more than just one-dimensional. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. In episode 9, we get a scene where Matt Murdock is saying Elektra is enjoying killing, which is the truth. And this also solidify what I think. She is a villain. Now, she wants to change, but she is still a villain. Episode number 8 of Daredevil, second season. Now, I want to address a few issues that occur the first few minutes, and this is just my take and my issues. One of the two is Matt and Elektra, they fight ninjas, and Matt struggle a lot, which is normal because these ninjas, they conceal where they are, and they have low heartbeat. Now, I won't nitpick too much here, but my issue is the fact that Matt really didn't want Elektra to take any lives. But here's the thing. You can die. If you don't know your enemies, don't have mercy. Now, it's in character. It's not a mistake in the writing. I just find that really stupid. So, it's in character for Matt. but it still gives me the issue that he is too much in character, and I find that really, really bothering. And sometimes I give it a pass because it's a sign of good writing within the character. But here in this specific scene where they are basically losing and Elektra can turn the tides, he says, "No, Elektra, don't kill." And then Elektra gets stabbed, and they almost died because he had mercy. Now, this is on the whole theme of the show and that season, because that season is don't kill. This is a no kill rule. And I like the emphasis, but I think the timing is wrong. The timing is kind of ridiculous. Now, sometimes, for example, when the Punisher is about to kill someone and Daredevil is just throwing a stick or something to stop Punisher from killing someone else, I do agree with that because most of the time Daredevil is in control, Matt is in control. But in this fight against the ninja, he is not in control. He's getting beat down, and yet his morals are exaggerated and it doesn't feel human. Now, I praise a lot Daredevil for human character, but that scene felt just off. It doesn't make sense. Now, the other issue, Stick, that appears out of we don't know. What I praise a lot from Daredevil is the writing. There's nothing that happens just to happen or just for a plot twist or a surprise. Usually they are set up and build up towards certain scene and moment. But here I feel like they caught a scene just to have that impact, just to have that plot twist and that punch. Oh, Stick is there in this episode. I think it's really weak. And if Stick was truly there, why did he wait until both Matt and Elektra almost died? So that episode bothered me a lot. Now, right now, I have just seen like 3-4 minutes in, so maybe more will come up later. But I feel like I need to address that. Even if it's a season overview, I need to specify and speak about things that bother me. Because this is what I do when I review a show. I'm not gentle. I just use honesty. I'm just being honest when I review a show. And these two scenes bother me a lot. Here, I just wanted to add this one up. In episode 10, Elektra and some guy are speaking, and they are actually speaking in French. And I'm surprised because they have a conversation, and their accent at first is a bit rough, but as it goes, they actually speak good French, which is good and it's surprising as well. Because usually in shows and movies, when they try making their characters speaking other language, sometimes it feels off or they don't speak it properly. But these two, they were speaking French very well. And this is coming from someone like me that was born speaking French. So I know what I am talking about. And I speak about all the negative about this show, but I also want to speak about the positive and the strength. And I think that attention to details is really good. Some show they splash language just to splash it and look like cultivated people that hire cultivated actors, but they only look like. In this show, they hired people that were actually speaking French, and I respect them for that because this shows respect to the language and the viewer as well. Because not all show put that kind of attention in dialogues. So I just wanted to praise them for doing such scene. The attention to detail is amazing. I just wanted to share another strength in episode 10. Now, I could share other strength in other episodes, but I just find episode 10 amazing in so many points. The glasses guy, I cannot remember his name, the one in charge of the paper where Ben Urich worked for in season 1, is a great character in season 2. He had character growth. He has regrets. He lost Ben Urich, and you can tell the way it affects him in season 2. And he wants to protect Karen Page because he cares about her. And this is golden. This is also telling us, the viewer, that these writers, they remember season 1 and how the glasses guy almost got Ben Urich killed. But now, glasses guy improved through character growth. So Ben Urich dying did give a lot of things in the show, and it gave service to the characters within the show. And this is something we need to praise. Not all show remember what happened in the past. Some show they try to only go further without thinking about what happened last year or 2 years ago. And when they pay attention to detail, this is all you can see good writing. The audience liked it much more than the critics, which is no surprise. Well, I'm actually surprised why critics were not on board. I don't see that many problematic team. Maybe they could blame the Punisher to have toxic masculinity. I really don't know. I don't think it has. I think it's just action driven a lot, and people are not always on board, especially current critics. Some current critics just like stuff that are boring and soap opera ish, which is not the case with Daredevil. Now, let's read my comments. I always remembered Daredevil Season 2 to have an amazing start but a less impressive back half. On my most recent watch, I realized I was half right. Most of my issues I had in Season 1 are back. However, said issues were not as bad in Season 2 since I noticed less of said issues. Plot convenience and plot armor are both back, here and there. Daredevil and Punisher both survived headshots, whatever. Fisk controlling the jail and paying corrupt cops again, whatever. My two least favorite episodes from season 1 and 2 are both in the back half of the season, but the overall season and the character arc everyone is going through is great. Another small issues, the show started to become less grounded and realistic to fit into a future crossover show, Marvel's Defender. I will cover this show as well in the future. Season 2 is an amazing follow-up to Season 1, and they improved on a lot of things like action scenes and stories to be told. Season 2 is about moving on in life. Season 2 also depicts how obsession can destroy lives. Matt Murdock and Frank Castle both destroyed their life over their obsession with their crusades. Fisk, Cullinan, DA, Punisher, and Elektra all make a great lineup of villain. The story is well written and very appealing. Foggy Nelson feels much more like his own character in this season. Karen Page also got great material. The fight choreography is as great as ever. The conspiracy plot with Punisher going after former military people was great and well done. The trial of the Punisher storyline was great. The battle between Punisher and Daredevil was amazing. Wilson Fisk's prison storyline was good. The war against the end was great. No episode is wasted. The duration of each episode is perfect. Matt Karen relationship felt natural and it was good and well done. The tone of the show is perfect and it's dark. Highly recommend 9.5 out of 10. Now, the only show I think that beats this in all of the shows I've seen is maybe Stargirl's second season. Now, as I was reviewing and watching Stargirl's second season, I wasn't as critical as right now, so maybe my opinion will change. Maybe not, actually, because Stargirl is another well written show. Now, let's read other people in the audience. Best series ever made in the world. Lost some of the fire from season 1, still solid. I can understand and see where you are coming from. It's less crime drama, it's more something else. Now, this season is not as good as the first one, but it's still great. I love John Burtnell as the Punisher. I love the Punisher subplot, and episode 3 and 4 are among my favorite of the entire show. The problem is that Elektra spends the entire season between being in love with Matt and manipulating him, which I find really inconsistent and I don't like it. I also think the end is really boring. It's like they are fighting some trooper, but overall I really like it. So I do understand where he's coming from, but I think about the Elektra thing. She is a femme fatale, and as a femme fatale, she needs to manipulate the man, which is fine for me, but I can see why it can bother some people. Elektra is a very interesting character. She is consistent, in my own opinion. She is conflicted. This is different. She would not be consistent if suddenly Matt asked her, don't kill, and she stopped killing. Now you will tell me, oh, when they first started, she didn't kill for him. This is true, but this was part of her manipulation and not her character. If she from the get-go killed people, she would not be able to manipulate Matt later on. She spared some lives only to get in good graces with Matt. Later on, if you take a look, she murders a lot of people, she killed pretty much everyone. So she is really consistent. She's just very conflicted. And it's crystal clear, even when they meet, they still love each other, but they realize how toxic they are. This is why it took the entire season for them to reconnect and be on the same page again. But feeling were always around and always there. So I disagree. She is a consistent character. Now, about the end, I agree. The end is, I said it was a great villain, but in itself, if I just take the end there, it's the weakest part of the show. This is also why I remember the back half being not as good as the first half, because the end is much weaker than, let's say, Punisher or Elektra. Elektra is fascinating. Nobu is kind of boring, and the ninjas as well. But hey, this is my take. Loved having Punisher and Daredevil. Now, I will also say that I do like when Punisher calls Matt Red. red. It's I think it's funny. I maybe it's a thing in the comics. I really don't know. I'm actually curious to read some comics because this show is just amazing. Man, just win again. Watch this show since 2016, but this is only the time that I will rate it since I just created my Rotten Tomatoes account. Okay, so these are longer comments. So, not quite as good as the first season, but the bar was set astonishingly high. Absolutely amazing storytelling and cinematography. Characters are strong as ever. I agree with everything. While not as great as the first season, season 2 of Daredevil still packs a punch. Still, some of the best live action comic book writing performance are still great. Newcomers John Bernthal and Elodie Young are welcome addition to the cast and do fantastic jobs. Action is probably better, just a bit, than the first season, and the one-shot action sequence are a joy. Again, downside is the length, and with this season, it does feel like a bit too much was packed into it. Otherwise, still a great season of Marvel TV. Now, I do understand where you are coming from, but the way they wrote the script and the story, I think it was fitting, and I didn't felt like it was rushed. Maybe the prison a little bit because Fisk came from I just arrived and then I paid the cops. They like jumped, but here again they don't really say any exact time. So maybe it's been a year, maybe it's been 6 months. Fisk has been in jail. So I really don't know about that. I still think even if it's packed, it's well written and well done. But that's just me. This season is a little more convoluted than season 1, but I loved the Punisher and Elektra rating great. TV season rating 9 out of 10. So most of people are saying season 1 is better. I can understand where they are coming from, but I also think season 1 may be a bit overrated. But that's just me, that's just my take. I don't want to downgrade season 1. In case you missed it, I already uploaded the overview of season 1 and read it. Well, I should say listen to it or watch it if you want. What did you thought about this show in season 2? Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each other in a future video. Have a great day.